Hey everyone, it's Alicia Miller. I'm the founder of Core Emotional Healing, and I'm excited about something today that I'm beginning, which is a program that I developed that's specific for therapists and healing practitioners and coaches. And my mission and passion to deliver this program to those communities is because no one is talking enough about inner child work. So I learned through my own personal healing journey the importance of healing my own inner child, and it's tossed around out there enough where people have heard about inner child work, but they don't know enough about it and what it means and how to properly heal your inner child. So I just wanted to do a short video today just to go over the basics of inner child work and what it takes. And feel free to, let me know that you're here, and if you've worked with me, put in your comments in the comment section how it's helped you, or if you don't know about it, feel free to ask me any questions. So I discovered inner child work through the 20 years I was trying to heal myself from physical symptoms and emotional eating and relationship patterns that were not good for me. And no matter what I did, they kept coming back. All of those things, my eating disorder, my physical symptoms, and my relationships that I kept attracting that did not support me. So I touched on inner child work throughout those 20 years. I did some anger work. I connected to my inner child about almost 10 years before I actually did the work that I train people in now. So one common thing that I hear from people is, well, I'm still dealing with these things, so and I've already done the work, or I've already done inner child work. And you may have, so that's another thing I wanted to address today is you may have connected to your inner child, and you may be connected on an ongoing basis and telling your inner child nice things, but that's really not getting to what your inner child really needs. That's a part of it. That's one small part of it. So let me just back up and start over around what is inner child work, and how and why. Let's start with why. So why inner child work? Our inner child is that part of us, that aspect of us who was developing usually from 0 to 6 or 7 years old. And however we were treated at that time, unconsciously, most often by our parents, is what we believe about ourselves, love, life, relationship to other people. And so false beliefs are formed based on how we're treated by our parents, and then false personalities are also formed to try to get the love that we didn't get most often from our parents. And so then we play out throughout our life ways we relate to ourselves is ways we were parented. And then ways we relate to others or the people that we attract into our life tend to mirror the relationship we had with our parents. And then the ways we parent. And you may recognize this with yourself of like, I don't want to be like my mom or dad, but then you see how you're parenting similar, or there's things that you're just reacting to that you don't want to react to. So these are all reasons why it's so vital to do this inner child work. We will continue to repeat these patterns and create suffering with ourselves, other people, the relationships that we attract, and our children until we heal our own inner child. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I discovered the work that I now do. After 20 years of dealing, like I said, with chronic physical symptoms and emotional eating disorders, and attracting men and also friends and bosses into my life that mirrored how I felt as a child. And actually my symptoms came back. I had digestive problems, that I had an ongoing relationship with food to try to heal myself, and supplements and healers, and nothing was really fully doing it. So I discovered through working with Janet Raftis, who I do retreats with, that my inner child was knocking to come out, and there was a lot more for me to do with her. And so I, like I said, had already done a lot of inner child work, and I just hadn't gotten to what I needed. And so I did more consistent inner child work with loving her and helping her feel lovable, and that also was, giving her what she was looking for in those relationships that weren't good for her, and expressing the anger and the sadness and the pain that I didn't feel as a child. So there was many things that I had to do, but what that did is it finally shifted me where nothing else shifted me. And I believed in myself. I was started to receive more support. I changed the way I was acting in the world. When you're unconsciously acting from wounded child, it can look like trying to prove your worth. And so proving your worth could look like doing too much, or overachieving, or having to do everything perfectly. It could also be always being there for other people, and that's how you feel worthy and loved. So that can be a way for you to recognize if you're still living life from your wounded child, and what your wounded child needs from you. So until we give our inner child the love that they needed, the love and approval, without having to prove it or do anything for it. It's based on listening to what we need and how we feel. And that involves being supported through a whole process to go back to being what you needed as a child, and addressing how it felt to be treated the way you did. And the work that I specialize in is mainly helping people get through all of the resistance and defenses to doing this work. So that's why it's so hard to impossible to do this work through a book or a YouTube video, or just going to therapy often. It takes active, kind of assertive, for someone to be there to lead you through it, to help you move through all of that resistance. And so the resistance I'm talking about is the defenses and the ways that you protected yourself as a child. We all have them, and we all need them. So those are, vital for us to live and to function in the world when we experienced emotional abuse or neglect, or anything that caused us pain. And there's so much that we don't even recognize as causing us pain that we need to be shown, to be able to be led back there, to feel it, to release it, to shift how you actually feel about yourself, and also release the pattern that pain kept on attracting. So that's why I'm sharing this video, is to stress the importance of the work, because from my own personal experience, I learned that nothing changed, and I was basically in chains until I healed my inner child. And then from there, I saw that everything else worked. My symptoms went away, my food restrictions went away, my emotional eating went away. I developed my own inner support system, and I listened to my intuition, and I could sense what I needed and what was good for me, and then I would ask for what I needed as well, because then I believed that I did deserve it, and I do deserve everything that I want, and I can have it, and I'm lovable, and I'm good enough, and there's nothing wrong with me. And so I then started working with my clients to focus on doing the inner child and emotional healing work first, instead of trying to focus so much on the food and supplements or doing treatments or anything like that. What was needed is for them to do their own work where they feel that they can receive, that they do deserve to receive support. I work with mostly practitioners now, and the thing that I hear that they know is that clients have blocks, and it comes from that scared inner child that doesn't believe that they're going to get what they need. And all of this is unconscious, and it does come from childhood when you didn't get the love, attention, support that you needed. It's still, you still unconsciously are not expecting to get it. And then that blocks your own healing, and it blocks you to actually receive what you really, really want in relationships or life and work. So it's so important to know how to help, as a practitioner, how to help your clients fully heal and shift out of patterns by making sure that they do this work, and either referring them to someone or getting trained if you're interested, but making sure that they are getting the right support to move through this type of process, so after I started helping my clients do that, I noticed that they were shifting quicker. And then I developed this program called Express What's Repressed. It's a 60-day core emotional healing program that's fully supported. It's actually provides what most programs don't, which is ongoing support on a daily basis, where my clients have access to me, and I actually am encouraging them to share what they don't want to share or do what they don't want to do, to help them move through the resistance that really is just coming from the fears of the wounded child. And so the safe space matters the most in creating a safe and loving space and modeling a compassionate and nurturing mother, because we end up in this work start to reparent ourselves again the way our parents treated us, and what we believe about ourselves we start to project kind of on the inner child, and all kinds of tricky things start happening. So that's why it's so important to be supported by someone who is skilled at moving through those things and showing you what is true, and how to give it to yourself, and how to strengthen a new aspect of yourself, which is unconditional love and compassion and acceptance and gentleness. So it's like developing this new gentle, loving strength versus the hard and defended self of not wanting to get hurt. And this is more of turning into being with your hurt in a very loving and compassionate way. And from that, the shifts that happen are I've never seen them work so well until I did this program, delivering this in that type of way, providing the ongoing support. And I think what happens is when someone is being heard and seen in a non-judgmental way, they are healing that on a very deep level of what was needed as a child. So it's providing that that nurturing mother is so important, because then the wounded child then feels that there isn't anything wrong with them, and they feel valued, and that they matter, and their feelings matter, and that shifts everything. And then they start to open up to support and receiving the support more and more. So that takes place first in the safe space, and then they can trust that they can get the support they need. And that's what works. And that's how you believe that you will heal and you will get what you need. So I just wanted to share, if anyone that's watching wants to make any comments or have any questions about that, I really want this to be shared and in a very big way, because like I said in the beginning, it's not being talked about enough. There was like this big movement in the 80s with John Bradshaw, and I don't know what happened to it. He's a brilliant genius with the inner child work. I've taken a lot from pieces of people's work, but I really have made my own process, and that's the core emotional healing process that helps people move through it in a very supported and structured way, with lessons and group sharing, and having someone always there to give you what you need, which is what we all needed, to then do that for ourselves. So I'll go ahead and leave some links and resources for you. And like I said, just I would love for you to share this, because it's so important and it's not talked about enough. I think it would, if doctors and health coaches and people, healing practitioners and energy healers and therapists would stress doing this work, then everything else will work. And this time we are suffering more than ever. People are on medications more than ever, and antidepressants, and full of anxiety, and the autoimmune conditions is at the highest, and these are all emotional. So it needs to, and people need to be empowered and seeing that their body and their emotions are telling them something. They need something from them. So I love you all so much. This is my inner child now. This is Mama Sloth and her babies. And this is really, at my core, what I'm meant to do is to provide the nurturing and the love and the support that's needed for people to heal themselves. So thank you for watching and for sharing. Love you. Bye.